We are in the server. Good heavens, look at that. So, here we are, the wonderful server. And yeah, as you can see, you've got obviously Grosval, you've got Kizit, Zaink, Scar and J. Daniel, and obviously Dignitas guys who we all met yesterday. And I think we should be ready to go. I think they're going to do a round restart shortly, and then we'll be underway. So, this is going to be a very, very interesting and entertaining spectacle, guys. I hope you're looking forward to this as much as we are. Now, Dogbert, tell us about how you would start off this match if you were the team leader for one of these teams.
Well, for both teams, they usually come across as quite aggressive, but I think that is kind of just a sign of infantry play in Battlefield 4. I think, say, Eyeballers here, I mean, it really makes no difference which team I pick. They need to kind of feel each other out and see how this game is going to progress. It all comes down to how much they're going to commit to the B flag here. I think you're probably going to see Dignitas getting much closer to the B flag a bit quicker, but Eyeballers will be able to come through the house between C and B, and they might be able to cause them a few issues with having a high ground. But if I had to put a guess down, you're probably going to see about 3 to 4 people from both teams all heading to B, with a guy probably trying to poke around the back from the C and A point, depending. So yeah, we're going to have to wait and see how they do this, but yeah, you're going to look for a massive fight around B, I believe.
Yeah, now I notice also, there we go, the 3-2 split done. Oh, actually, it's more of a 2-2-1 split. Now, Dignitas are on the China side and the US side, and there we go, first kill to Dignitas as they're pushing down, and you can see Eyeballers pushing into that B point pretty hard, as you can see Sakar and Grosval pushing up, and there's Masu, who's having a little bit of a run in. There we go, he gets taken down as he tries to push in towards the point, and the other point they tried to take, and it looks like they got shut down as they tried to push into B, and now the bleed is onto Team Dignitas, and they have to try and get that B point, or possibly cycle round and get the C point in order to get that point back, Dogbert.
Dignitas are going to make a big push onto B here. They have a player advantage on Narts. 4 of them are going to drop on, but Eyeballers are going to start spawning on top of each other, and they'll probably make a push to A while Dignitas are pushing B. Dignitas at the beginning there went for a 2-man push onto C, with one hanging back to capture A and then the rest pushing in at B. They spread themselves quite thin, but unfortunately for Dig, they were shut down at both C and B. So it didn't kind of work out for them at all. It was a nice spread by them, but Eyeballers were all over them.
Yeah, so we're now in with Jagar Daniel. We'll probably call him Jag or Daniel, as it will probably be easier. Now you can see obviously that now what's happened is that Dignitas have got that bleed onto the B point, or they've captured the B point. Now the A point is in the process of being captured by, let's see, that's Scar, who's down there at the moment. He's capturing that point at A, and the C point now, and you can see Dignitas then starting to move back as a huge amount of the team coming back towards a single point, and you can see fire being taken from the corridor. Oh, there we go, Giggly gets taken down very nastily, and now Eyeballers moving in to close in on Dignitas as they're trying to fight for survival. Nade's coming in from all directions. He's had to push forward to get out of the way of the explosive power of that nade, and he's coming in to try and do a little bit of damage. There we go, Sky gets taken down very quickly, and another quick kill. Henker unfortunately coming a cropper, and now you can see the point is flashing, A point now flashing, courtesy of Dignitas Masu, and it looks like now they've got the burn onto Eyeballers, and Eyeballers are going to have to turn it around quickly, and it looks like they are pushing down towards C, Dogbert.
It is indeed the case that most of the teams are not going for any of these kind of huge engagements. They're playing this very fluid. Whenever a team is sending the majority of their guys to one flag, Dignitas especially seems to be splitting off in groups and just going for the bleed. They're not looking for firefights, they're not looking for any kind of engagement with Eyeballers, they're looking for the flags, and that is how you play domination. Eyeballers are doing the same, but Eyeballers are looking mainly to get a good fight going, really, but they're slowly but surely just being worn down by the fact that Dignitas here is getting most of the flags. As Eyeballers are going to try and get B, they'll probably capture B here, but it's all down to what happens at A. Dignitas will capture C, but what happens at A here? It's a 1-on-3 situation.
Yeah, now looking at Jag there. Oh, there we go. Ice-Scar coming in, and he's just taken down one of the members of Dignitas. He's managed to revive a couple of people.
He got a 2-man kill on Eyeballers, but unfortunately he didn't know that Scar was there by himself, and while he was trying to reload, he came in for the revive, and that gives Eyeballers the A flag. But while that is all going on, Dignitas have cleaned up a B, and they already hold C. So the ticket bleed is staying in Dignitas' hands for about, I'd say, 70 to 80% of this game so far. It's early days, but that ticket bleed is slowly but surely starting to get a serious concern for Eyeballers. They've got to get a better grip on this game.
Yeah, now obviously we're moving in. We're watching Sky. He's moving out of the A point. He's then taking fire as he came out into the open. Unfortunately, he didn't have any cover to protect him. We're looking at Giggly, who's in here at the moment, and also they're now capturing that A point. The B point is now flashing. We're looking at Grosval, who's trying to defend the C point. Seems to be doing okay. He's in there with the AEK and the Cobra. So one good thing, you know, for those of you who are not familiar, a very high cyclic rate, also very high amount of recoil on that weapon. It spits a serious amount of bullets down the field, but it is one of these ones that is quite hard to control. Now you can see Eyeballers moving out from the C point and starting to probe the defences around Dignitas' B point, and hopefully maybe pushing up towards the A. So you can see, there we go, Henker coming under a little bit of pressure. He's then going to have to move back as we're getting a little bit of a graphic glitch, and he shut down essentially 2 members of I who were coming into that point, and now you can see them coming around, but no, they were taken down very quickly, and that's a good attempt there, as you can see Dignitas now cycling around and literally shutting down an attempt by Eyeballers to get into that B point. Dignitas, Dogba even.
They pulled a big spawn off on B, right on top of Scar, I believe. But Dignitas had spawned on top of their players as well, which is a big thing in Battlefield, in case you don't know. You can spawn randomly anywhere on the map, or you can pick a player in your squad to spawn on, and that's what they did there. Both teams did it. Eyeballers coming in, obviously try and get a bleed off them up by capturing the B flag, but Dignitas holding a few of their spawns, waiting to see where the pressure was going to be, and then they respawned accordingly and shut down the aggression from Eyeballers. And Eyeballers are finding themselves locked down to the C point, and at this point in the game they need to be breaking out. They need to be maybe relying more onto the random spawns than they are in the mass squad spawns that they're doing now.
Oh, I just watched Valu come around and do a massive triple kill onto Eyeballers, came in, back raged on them, cut them all down, and yeah, that was a pretty unfortunate moment there as far as Eyeball is concerned. Now, unfortunately, the 3 Eyeball guys are, they're basically sitting at the A point, trying to capture it, and also trying to push in towards the B point. But Dignitas have obviously, Masu moved down, captured the C point, and now they're holding them away from that C point. So essentially, what you've seen them do is completely turn their focus of attention of at least 180 degrees, Dogbook.
Indeed, what happened there was just like I was saying before. Now, you can spawn on your teammates, but that puts you in a very obvious position. So if you're not near a flag, it's not really going to help you. What Masu did there is, while Eyeballers were putting 3 men down onto A, which was completely undefended by Dig, Masu got a random spawn right behind C. He got in there, he took the flag, he got a one-on-one, I think it was a Scar, and he took him out and captured the flag. So 4 men go from Eyeballers to capture A, and Masu on his own takes C, and that kept the ticket bleed in their favour.
Now, looking at the ticket situation, really not good for Eyeballers at the moment. 117 to 40, currently in favour of Dignitas. Look at that lovely nade just dropping onto the side there. Valu coming back, so a Scar taking Valu down, and then he tries to recover one of his teammates, but he gets shut down very quickly. And you can see, obviously, the members of the Eyeballers now moving towards the A point, but Dignitas...
Watch how Dignitas are cycling here. They've already got 2 people going to make a push onto B, and that is soon going to become 4. Meanwhile, Eyeballers have got 3 people still at A. It all comes down to now who can get into the B point the quickest, and Dignitas are starting to slow down as they know that Eyeballers are already in the B point defending it, but Eyeballers are doing the correct thing here. Dignitas are putting 4 people into this attack, and what are they going to do? Jerry Daniels is just going to go straight to C and capture it, and that's exactly what you need to do. If someone starts committing too many forces to one flag, you ignore it and go for the other. And it looks like Eyeballers might get the first domination cap of this series.
Oh, that would be interesting to see, but now you can see the A point flashing, and it looks like Henker noticed that sudden shift of the strategy, and now basically has moved over to ensure that the A point has been captured, and that the bleed will remain onto Eyeballers. So we're looking at 32 to 91, currently with Dignitas playing China, so they are the people in red, and now you can see Henker trying to defend that A point that has been captured, and you can see obviously Giggly moving up and moving to assist his teammates. But if you look down towards the B point, you can see Masu and Nura literally defending those points, except Nura just got taken down at the C point, as they had a rather nice spawn by the Eyeballers at the C point. So looking quite interesting thus far, and now the ticket bleed is onto the Dignitas team, and they need to change things around, wouldn't you say, Dogbert?
I don't know. They're going to capture A point here unless Groves can do some really... Grover's got a big spawn here, so this is where it's going to come down to. What happens at A here? It's a 2-on-3 situation, 2-on-4 situation now, and it's just Nuna by himself. Hendrik spawned on him as well. It's a 2-on-1, and it looks like Eyeballers will take A, but while that was going on, Dignitas have responded completely correct to the situation and took C with a 2-man push on it.
Now, obviously, the advantage of that means that they can actually tie up the entire Eyeballers team at the A point and make use of that sudden lull, because now they've got to move from the A point to the B point in order to get in there and suddenly head off any attempts by Eyeballers to then capture that B point. Now they're doing revives. They've only got 7 tickets. Oh, look at that. They're noticing that they're going to have to do plenty of revives, but there we go. Grosval gets taken down. They're down to 4 tickets to 71. This is not looking good for Eyeballers, and you can now see, you can hear the music in the background as Masu is taken down, 71 tickets to 0.
That was a very good start for Dignitas. They were much more fluid, and they were spreading themselves at the correct times instead of just going up. I think there was maybe a handful of times that Dignitas were maybe overcommitting for a flag, but in most cases they were very spread out, and they weren't playing the game of I'm going to get the most frags, even though they did. But they were mostly focusing on just getting the domination flags working in their favour. The ticket bleed did more damage to Eyeballers than the kill streaks of, say, Masu. Though at the very end of the game, when Eyeballers were about to overwhelm the B flag, Masu came in there and cleaned up again. So I don't think Eyeballers particularly did anything incorrectly. I think that Dignitas were just a lot quicker on getting the domination and holding it than Eyeballers were.
Now, you notice in the scores there, Masu with a rather nice 25 and 9, and Grosval obviously doing pretty good with the 17 and 8, but like you were saying, it's about speed of reaction. So that gives them a 71 ticket advantage on this first round of the first map, Dawnbreaker, and we're going to have to see how, after the teams have been moved around for the next round, how that's actually going to change up. Now, what will Eyeballers have to do in order to turn this around? How can they put Dignitas on the back foot and make them play the Eyeballers game?
Dignitas are playing a very, very fluid and fast game here. Like I said before, they're not getting tied down in little firefights. Something that happened at Epsilon yesterday when they were playing against UMav. They're moving mostly for the flag points. They're not wasting time in killing. They're spotting their opponents. They know their objectives. Their objective is hold 2 flags, get the ticket bleed. If the other team drop the hammer and put in 4 people onto a flag, okay, that's great. We're going to take the flag which has only 1 or 2 people defending it, and we will take that flag and keep the ticket bleed. That's all Dignitas are playing for here. They want that ticket bleed, and that's what they're trying to do. And Eyeballers need to either get a good defense and hold 2 flags, which would be the conventional sense, or just find some way to stop Dignitas being so fluid. Find a way to slow them down. And as I was saying before, at the beginning of the game, we're having a 3v3 on the B flag, but it is not going in Eyeballers' favour. 2 of them have been shut down, all 3 have been shut down, and that leaves them in a really, really precarious start against a very motivated, and more importantly, a team that has the ticket lead with 71 points already.
Yeah, so we're watching the situation at the moment as you're now watching Klizzit making his way down. He gets taken down very quickly indeed. And now we're looking at Dignitas Noe taken down as well very quickly. And that was a quick exchange. Unfortunately, Zienks, wow, he was last man standing. But fortunately, we're now watching Zienks move in, take down Masu, and then suddenly run around the corner and get shot in the face as the eyeballers are now in the process of capturing the next point, and the bleed is already from Team Dignitas onto eyeballers, and they need to turn this around as quickly as they can, Dogbert.
They do indeed. This is the worst possible start that eyeballers could possibly get, really. They're obviously behind 71 tickets, and that's going to carry around in B, but more importantly, when eyeballers were peeking in at C with 2 people, they got dropped as well. Basically, Dignitas just seem to be the more consistent team when it comes to these firefights. Obviously, eyeballers are being the more aggressive here. They have to be. They know they're very far behind in tickets, but because they're being very hasty in their attacks, they're getting picked off by a team of Dignitas, which is, to be honest, starting to get in their stride.
It's looking that way at the moment, and you're obviously looking at the map at the point, and you can see the likes of Zienks and Keslit, or KL Sit. He's under a little bit of pressure at the moment. As you can see, loads of fire coming in on those guys, and let's see if we can find out.
But why this is going on, if you look at A, eyeballers have 2 people sitting between A and B, and they are not doing anything. They've started to move out now, but meanwhile, while Dignitas were focusing on the squad which was pushing into B, there were 2 people between A and B that weren't even trying to move. They were just waiting. They can't sit back and wait while Dignitas is already dictating the pace of the game.
Indeed, indeed. Now we're looking here at the Keslit guy making their way into that point. As you can see there, the eyeballers trying to defend that C point and then being shut down. And you can see obviously Jag over here, and he is in the process of trying to take that A point. As the B point now, you've got a very nice quick spawn there by Giggly and other members of Dignitas at the B point, now trying to shut down that push in. As we're watching Nure here having a little bit of a tussle. Oh, looks like runs into 2 eyeballers who drill him very fast indeed. And now you can see the Dignitas team being completely shut down except for Valu and his teammate, who has now spawned on him at A. And this is an opportunity for the eyeballers to turn it around, as they now have the bleed onto Dignitas, Dogbert.
No, indeed, and what they did there was very telling of from eyeballers. They spread out completely from B. What they're trying to do here is lock down Dignitas. They have 1 at C, they have 4 at A. They have 1 at C, 4 at B. Their plan now is to get the ticket hold, try and drain it as much as possible, and make sure at no point from now on does Dignitas start playing their game, which is a very fluid one, and trying to get behind and around the eyeballers' defence. I must admit, if eyeballers here can get a strong defence around B. Well, saying that, they've just had their holes chipped in there, and it's Walu and Warburg, Giggly, Henkai, and Nuna all over B now. It all depends on if eyeballers can react correctly, which they are doing at A, and if they can defend C. Depends where Dig are going to put their pressure. Are they going to do it C, or are they going to do it A?
Now we're looking at looks what appears to be Zinks trying to defend this point, and Grosval as well. So it looks like these guys are going to try and defend this C point against a potential push by Dignitas. There we have Valu picking and getting shut down very quickly indeed as the point is being defended. As you can now see Gig moving in, trying to get a little sneaky, jumps down on the top and takes down Zinks. Finishes him off very quickly, looking for a quick peek onto Grosval, shuts down Grosval, so the attempt to hold C by the eyeballers was unsuccessful.
Masu going on to A there, he didn't know how many were behind the corner at the flag, but he'd look around the corner and takes out 2. This is very important now for Dignitas, because they were already contesting at C. So more importantly, they've already got B, they've already got A, and they were contesting C. Eyeballers were not sure where they should put the majority of their defence. They put 2 at A and 3 at C. C was the bait, A was the push, and because of that, Dignitas are pushing ahead in the ticket lead.
Now you can see them at 109 points to 83, and you can see the likes of eyeballers. They're in the process of trying to push one of the other points now. You can see that they're holding 1 guy back, 2 guys moving towards, and let's follow Valu as he's making his way in towards that point, taking fire from multiple directions. He's got to be careful, working together with his teammate, trying to get that pull onto that point. As there we go, that was Grosval shutting down one of the Dignitas team members as he tries to push into that point. Now can he stop any further pushes into the B point? Nice grenade going into Giggly there, and you can see now him pushing back to this point. Oh, but shut down as soon as he peeked to throw that grenade. He got absolutely drilled. And this is not looking good.
Were completely caught out. They were putting a 4-man onto B. They'd already had someone defending at A, but they started to slowly move away. Wahlberg had a nice spawn at A. He started getting there, contested it, and that pulled everyone back from B to come to A just to deal with one guy, and that was Wahlberg. They managed to get the flag back, they got the bleed, but there's too many people at A when Dignitas are throwing a 3-man down onto B. That is going to be a ticket bleed once again in Dig's favour, and this is looking really, really bad for eyeballers right now.
Yeah, because bear in mind, obviously, 71 tickets from the previous round. Now there's a difference of around 40, maybe 50 tickets. Oh, nice response by Masu into Rosval. Took some fire from him, turned and drilled him very quickly indeed, and taking down Kizlit as he tries to push in as well. So nice play there by Masu on the B point. He's been holding that B point quite effectively, and unfortunately now you've got what appears to be 4 members of the Eyeballers locked in at C, and now being pushed back against by the Dignitas team. But they have just been shut down, and now this is the opportunity for Eyeballers to move up, start to take the B point. But now you've had a sudden squad bomb by Dignitas, and they're going to push back into the B point now, Dogbert.
Eyeballers rotated perfectly there. They knew they were going to get C. A was going down. Dignitas had committed quite a lot to capturing A when there was no one defending it. And Dignitas took far too long to get from A to B when they already knew they had the flag. Meanwhile, Eyeballers were all over B flag by the time that Dignitas were even in a position to contest it, let alone stop them capturing the flag. So it looks at this point like Eyeballers are slowly but surely starting to be able to play Dignitas' game of movement and capturing flags, but it might be too little too late.
Yeah, looking at a 40 ticket difference between the two teams. Obviously Dignitas currently with the advantage, and you're seeing weapons wise pretty much everybody using either the Ace or the AEK 971, so both very popular weapons. Obviously the Ace with a little bit less of the fire rate of the AEK, but also with less recoil. So that seems to be the weapon of choice at this current moment, which we were discussing the other day. And now you can see nades coming in, and let's see if we can focus in to see what's going on. You can see Masu, the only one dead for Dignitas, and now you can see the likes of Zienks trying to trade fire. Oh, grenade in the face, taken down very harshly. And now you can see more fire coming in. Value being shut down by Jag. So Jag taking him down as he's trying to guard that B point. There are literally bodies everywhere, and it is not looking good at the moment, but you can see 34 tickets to 61. Can they bring it back enough so that they can actually lower this deficit between Eyeballers and Dignitas here, Dogbert?
Dignitas, to be honest, have started to slow down in their ability to play a fluid game and play capture the flag here. Meanwhile, I think the caster's curse has struck once again. I have cursed Eyeballers so badly, as while I said this, Dignitas have been able to push through and get their capture of B, but for a good 2 minutes it's been all Eyeballers with the ticket bleed. Eyeballers firmed up their defense, and it looks like they're going to clean up B, but right now Eyeballers are doing the correct thing. They have started to slow Dignitas' ability to move quickly around the map, and they've been holding the B and C for a significant amount of time now, and they're already putting pressure onto A. They might even be able to get a domination cap, which is what they need right now. Could Eyeballers still win this round? Definitely they could. They've got the bleed. They've got everything they need right now. It's Dignitas here that have started to come a little unhinged at the final stretch of this map.
Yeah, it's looking that way at the moment, as we're now watching them make their way out of the A site and pushing down, and it looks like they've only got 2 members of Eyeballers to stop them, but you've also got a couple of guys also looking to do a little bit of an outflanking manoeuvre, and let's follow Grosval as he makes his way in with his AEK, hoping to spray bullets at the general direction of the Dignitas guys. There we go, engaging Giggly, but unfortunately not taking him down. That was an unfortunate moment there. If he'd managed to take down both of those guys, they could have actually broken the back of any kind of defense of the A point. But fortunately, the Eyeballers are actually in at A, while Dignitas has moved over to the B point, and now you can see the tickets and the points all being swapped around. 26 to 20. Look at this, now the bleed.
It's getting very close. Jaeger Daniel with a clutch play on A, managing to take out 2 Dignitas players by himself and capturing A when it was going to be it was defended by 2 Dig players. It was no easy task, but he managed to do it, and that might have just sealed the victory here for Eyeballers in this second round. Obviously they're already down 71 points, but they need to do everything they can to make sure Dignitas doesn't just keep picking up the ticket lead and getting the momentum.
Not only that, but not only is the bleed now onto Dignitas, but every kill they get will also then reduce those tickets. And this is going to be a problem as the music is starting to sound. The US team is down to 9 tickets. It's getting very close here. And you can see 16 tickets, 7 tickets. The bleed continuing to be onto Dignitas. And it's possible that Eyeballers may have turned this around, as you said, by starting to play the game that Dignitas has been playing against them. Being more fluid, being more flexible in their movements between the points. And there we go, 15 tickets for round 2. Wow.
Eyeballers responded completely correctly to the original Dignitas strat of a more fluid and flexible spread on the flags. They managed around about the last 5 to 8 minutes of that last round to really just lock down the map, put their defences in order and react whenever Dignitas were overwhelming them at a certain flag. They kept the ticket bleed in their half for at least 70 to maybe even 75% of that map, and that's what gave them the win there. It was still very close. I mean, we're only talking about a 15-point lead on that round, and Dignitas obviously with a 71-point lead from the previous one, but Dignitas were ahead of them for quite a while. But Eyeballers firmly got their feet in the ground and managed to grit it out to the end, bleeding Dignitas down and winning by 15 tickets on the final round.
Yeah, so that's a difference. Correction, I've just done my maths completely wrong. So 71 minus 15, I suppose you could say. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes into the next round, as we're going to be at about a difference of roughly, I would say, about 55, maybe 50, yeah, about 55 tickets.
56 tickets in Dig's favour right now.
56 tickets in Dig's favour now. For those of you who've seen the matches up to this point, that is not a big margin, Dogbert.
It is not at all. But then again, in the last game, we only had a 10-ticket lead from Epsilon in the previous games, but it's a lead, so that is still going to play a part. So if we have 2 very, very close games, then Dignitas are going to be the ones leaving this and going to the final. But it all comes down to how the team wants to play. If they want to play their own game, then that's fine. But if that game ends up with them playing very close, then they'll probably want to have to think about it. But I think I don't think it's going to play that big a part. I think what they're going to do, they're just going to play the first game. They're going to play the first round. They're not going to think about the fact that Dignitas have a 56-point lead. But with that, it's a possibility that if they ignore it, it could really bite them in the ass if they don't do really well at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely will be the case, and we just have to wait and see if these guys... Yeah, it looks like one of Dignitas has dropped from the server, so things will not be live as of yet, boys and girls. But Locker, Operation Locker, the mince grinder, the mincemeat of Battlefield 4. This is a nasty, nasty map when it comes to the sheer amount of attrition onto enemy teams. And as you said before, so you have the China, who will be closest to the B team, and the Russians, who are closest to the A point, the A capture flag.
US and Russians, yes.
US and Russians, sorry, not China, my apologies. And the fight tends to be, thank you, the fight tends to be predominantly for the C point, shut up, tends to be for the C point. So, obviously, it depends on who is going to get that C point and how, what forces they decide to commit to it, because it also depends on the aggressiveness of the other team. Because if you're going to have 3 people make their way over to the C point and then 2 of the people get shut down by a sudden push from A to B, that means you could only have 1 flag before you know what's going on, Dogbert.
It's very true. I think both teams are probably going to make a not a big push, but definitely maybe a 2-man from both teams for C. But it's the tunnel entrance right opposite C, which I think is where you're going to see maybe someone from the American team probably pushing out from there. Yeah. It's very dangerous to send someone far round from the US spawn that way, because it might take them far too long. But the danger of sending them through the middle tunnel is the fact that they could be picked off by a very well-aimed Russian bullet. So they might not want to risk that, but it will come down to just really how this played. I have not really seen this played between 2 top-level teams yet. We've seen a few stomps on this map, so we'll have to wait and see. But I would say a 2 two-man push from both sides onto C with 3 men from both sides taking up defensive positions around A and B, and really just probing to see which one breaks first. If any of those get a good kill streak going, they're probably going to make a push on to either B or to A, depending on who gets the wipe.
And there we go, the service has restarted the round, so I think it's going to be fair to say that everybody in the server is ready to go, and we shall be underway with the second map, the first round of the second map. There will be 2 rounds, obviously, with Dignitas 56 tickets ahead at this current moment. This is a fantastic semi-final thus far, I have to say, Dogbert, and let's see what kind of split they're going to do. Now, it's possible they could do a 3-2 split with 2 going for C, and it could also be a case of a 2-2-1 split, 2 going for B, 2 going for C, and also 1 as a roamer to kind of, if for whatever reason they come across more forces at one of the other points, he can move to support his teammates or possibly recover his teammates if they get killed. Let's see what they decide to do. I'm wondering if you're going to give a prediction, Dogbert.
2-man from each team. Dignitas put 3 and Eyeballers put 2. That's my prediction.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. The expert has spoken, and we are about to find out what's going on.
And remember, everyone, Dignitas has a 56-point lead moving into this map, so we are definitely going to have to see some very aggressive and skillful play from Eyeballers here to rectify this.
Holy crap, did you see that?
I did indeed. Was that all from Dignitas Masu there, who absolutely just cleaned up a lovely push by Eyeballers, which would have went well if it wasn't for Masu just picking them off.
Now, what that was a 2-2-1 split. 1 member of Eyeballers went to capture the A point, 2 members went over to capture the helicopter pad, and 1 guy, or the other 2, went forward to try and go ultra aggressive onto the next point. So, very unusual play there. Unfortunately, as you said, shut down quite effectively by Dignitas. And we're looking at Kislet, who's in the process of trying to defend this helicopter point. So you can see now he's starting to move up.
Down 2 members of Dig, which is very, very important at the point, because if he hadn't, Dignitas would have got a full domination cap there because Henker was trying to take him out. He stopped 2, he took out Giggly and Henker, but meanwhile there was a 3-man push from Eyeballers onto B, which was slowly but surely crushed by Dignitas. They're still making their push onto B, but that was shut down, and Dignitas here are going to get the full first domination cap of this map.
Yeah, this is a serious situation as far as Eyeball is concerned. We're now watching Henker as he's making his way up towards the next point. You can see him getting involved in the isolation cells. He got isolated by a bullet to the forehead, is no more. And now you can see Valu moving down. You can see his teammates Henker dead ahead of him. And he's got to be very careful. Oh, he gets drilled very quickly indeed. And now you can see the burn is taken off of Eye. Or so I should say, they have one of these points. And the bleed is significantly less than it was, but there's still a bleed, and there's a ticket.
Eyeballers are throwing their men into A to get a good capture here, and Dignitas are doing the same at B. It's all going to come down to how many they're going to commit to the C point, or if Eyeballers are going to be able to defend at B. As I said, 1 is going off to C. They need to get that bleed back. And it looks like Eyeballers have cleaned up at B, so that is going to be a full domination cap coming up for Eyeballers, and that is, at this point, exactly what they need to keep themselves in this series against Dignitas in the semi-final for first test cup for ESL.
Definitely. Now, oh, Scar, suddenly, all of a sudden, that was a serious squad bomb going on there by Dignitas as they're pushing in towards a B point, and now we're waiting to see what's going on. As you can see them also working on the C. Zienks, unfortunately, caught unawares as Giggly's in there as well. Looks like he's going to be sneaking around, going for a little bit of helicopter fun as Kislet gets taken down. And we're now moving over to see Jag, as he's now moving in towards one of the points. AEK at the ready, looking for enemies, seeing what he can find. And now we're looking at a situation where there's a sensor. It looks like Valberg has put a sensor down, as he did in previous matches. And it's just been taken down. Now, whether or not it's going to affect any kind of update. Oh, there we go. Jag taken down by on the stairs. And this is looking pretty good so far. 138 tickets to 134. It's so damn close at the moment. And
but
the bleed.
That kind of map, it's a meat grinder, as we've already said. This is not the kind of map you generally will play if you're going to get a very big advantage. It is very, very fluid. Dignitas and Eyeballers clashed with a 2v3 on A, which Eyeballers managed to get a hold of. Dignitas now are really finding themselves probably a little slower to react. Eyeballers here. As I was saying, that Henker is picking off 2-3. He took out 3 at B, and that gives Dignitas back a flag, but that is only stopping a full domination. That isn't stopping the ticket bleed at all. And Masu there was trying to get himself to A, but he was picked off completely by a man in the tunnel. So Dignitas here are finding themselves locked in at the B point. They need to get that ticket bleed stopped, and I think they might be making their big push onto A now, and they're throwing 4 men into this. So that is going to be A for Dignitas, definitely in the ticket bleed back in their favour. And Eyeballers really need to be much quicker in responding to the hammer being dropped on one of their flags.
Yeah, now obviously what we're doing is we're watching Zenxis. He's making his way over to the infirmary, sniffing around, looking for the enemy, members of his team spawning on him, and he looks like the other team are going to try and capture that point. Now, one thing you haven't seen done yet, I don't know why, I haven't actually personally seen it done, is whether or not you could fake out the other team by setting off the the metal detectors in certain areas to try and fake somebody out that you're actually going in a certain direction when in fact you're not doing that. You think that's a possible viable tactic, you think there, Dogfoot?
It's definitely possible to be using the map to your advantage. I don't know if it's... Oh my god, that was brilliant play from Masu. Once again dropping a 2-on-1 situation and just carving up the Eyeballers team. This is going to leave Dignitas here with a full domination cap. Eyeballers need to get into that B flag quickly, otherwise they're going to find themselves with a ticket bleed against them once again.
Oh, Masu again, double kill onto Grosval. 2 members of the Eyeballers going down. Nade goes in, does a little bit of damage, takes down yet another. Oh my goodness.
None come in and just cleaned up that offensive from Eyeballers. Eyeballers are finding themselves as a full 5-man pushing on the flags, but still finding themselves shut down by a smaller squad of Dignitas.
Now, one of the things we just noticed there is Masu pretty much single-handedly took out the entire member of Eyeballers with a combination of excellent automatic fire and a couple of well-placed nades that caused a little bit of injury there. And now you can see domination lockdown. There we go. The full bleed is onto Eyeballers, and now they need to do something about this because this is not looking good. And you can see, obviously, Henker and friends looking after the A point at the moment. They're trying to defend that. And look at those tickets dropping like a stone. There we go. It looks like they're now trying to work on the A point, and you can see here plenty of fire coming in as Henker's trying to defend himself. There's Masu. Masu doing it again, taking down multiple members. He's been absolutely on fire so far in this match, and doing a fantastic job of just shutting down any attempts by the Eyeballers to actually get into the points. There we go. Shuts down Gag as soon as he comes in. Ace 23 to the face, and then finally gets taken down. But there's a reason why he's looking at a 23-8 against Eyeballers. This is pretty impressive stuff by Dignitas, I have to say, with 92-53 are the difference in tickets, Dogbert.
Is indeed, and this is really not the game but Eyeballers want to be playing here. They need to be getting a good grip on the flag points here, and they need to be getting the ticket bleed in their favour. They know they're 56 tickets behind. They really need to be making their presence felt. But what's happening here is Dignitas are starting to win the local battles, all the small little skirmishes. At the beginning of the game, Eyeballers were doing it, but now Dignitas has started to pick up the speed, and it is going completely in their favour. Eyeballers right now do have the ticket bleed, but Dignitas has started to put the right number of people into A. It all comes down to this A flag. If Eyeballers cannot hold here, Dignitas are going to get that ticket bleed far past the point where Eyeballers will even be able to make an impact in this round.
Yeah, now that's pretty interesting to talk about things like they're starting to hit their hit their stride almost, you could say. Sort of almost like, not many people talk about it, but kind of when a team hits a momentum, a certain level, that everything begins to flow, everything begins to become kind of less thought about and become more sort of instinctual. So it's looking like Dignitas is approaching that situation at the moment, as they are just working together as a very well-oiled machine. And you can see there, look, I mean, Valu was focusing down at those 2 members of Eyeballers at the same time as Nure was aiming at them as well. So those guys didn't stand a chance being shot at by multiple team members. And this is not looking good, as Masu is now holding on to the A point. He's in there with his ace, pops out the nade to just make sure things are safe. Maybe even, yeah, it looks like he's waiting for what he thinks will be the inevitable push. In goes the nade onto Scar, and more nades going in, as you can see. There we go, 1 kill, 2 kills. Oh, look at that. Fantastic play there from Masu. And now you're looking at, as the last remaining tickets of Eyeballers ticking away. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the round. 80 tickets in favour. Wow, that was pretty impressive display there.
That was a huge score by Dignitas. They started off a round just in complete control. They never really let Eyeballers, to be honest, get back into it. I think what started to happen now is Eyeballers will start to realise that the lead from the previous round is giving Dignitas a significant advantage. And a bit of panic, I think, is starting to get into the Eyeballers ranks. And they are starting to make pushes which, to be honest, are ending really bad. And they're starting to just panic.
It's looking that way now. We're just waiting for the next round to begin, and yeah, we should be loading up. You can see Masu 28 and 11. Wow, 11 and 8 for Giggly, Nure, and you have to say, because now if we look at the difference in tickets, obviously that's 80 tickets to add on to the 50. That's 136 tickets, and each round is 200 tickets. That is a massive, massive hill to climb, and Eyeballers are going to have to play a serious amount of good gaming in order to actually accomplish this. And to be honest, based on what we've seen thus far, do you think it's a possibility?
It's the wrong map for this kind of play. If you are trying to bring down a massive ticket deficit, the map you do not want to be playing is Operation Locker. Because the map is such a meat grinder for tickets and flags, it's just really, really difficult to get a hold. So right now, it's 136 to 15. Dignitas in the lead, and Eyeballers are trailing with only 15 points. That brings the score for Dignitas need to win by is 121 points is their lead right now. If Eyeballers go under that, it is over.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Now, as you can see, the countdown beginning, and we are underway. Let's see how the teams decide to split now that the positions have been changed. The Eyeballers are in as Russia, and Dignitas are in, and looks like... Let's see. Let's follow Scar as he's moving in, so you can see moving in towards the cells and looking for the enemy. You can run into them any second. There we go, a little bit of trading fire, and the round restarts. Nice.
Dignitas only need to bleed 76 tickets of Eyeballers to progress to the final.
Indeed. Indeed.
That is what we're looking at.
What are they doing to this server?
That is how close. They're restarting it because they like to mess with your stream.
God damn them. Damn them all to hell. That's not fair. Don't mess with my stream. I had enough problems yesterday with connection issues, which hopefully have now been resolved, as a polite conversation was had with my ISP, which basically involved me and an extremely large stick and a threatening look. So, 33 seconds away. Let's see if Eyeballers can turn it around. Based on what's happened thus far, it's going to be a very, very difficult situation against a team the calibre of Dignitas BF4. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to watch to see how these guys split first on the map before we actually move into the first person view. So, it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm looking forward to this, and this is going to be crunch time as far as Eyeballers are concerned. Let's watch to see how they split. So bear in mind the red team. There we go. Now, that's a completely different change-up from what they did previously. Or maybe not. No, actually...
Every time I've seen Russians play right now, they seem to be making a big play to push into B. And as that says, Henk has already dropped 2 men. He himself gets dropped by Jaeger Daniel. Dignitas have already got the bleed. Yeah. At this point, Eyeballers need to stop this bleed as quick as possible. They're doing that now. It's going to be a 3 man onto B, 3 onto 2, and Dig are spreading out.
Jag did not stand a chance there, as he had basically got 3 grenades right there.
Takes out 2 of B, and this brings B back in the favour of Dig. The ticket bleed is staying on their side, and more importantly, they're putting pressure onto A, which is tying down Eyeballer players. That was critical. If Masu hadn't done that, Dignitas would have had a lot difficult fight at B, and now Dignitas are still holding on to a ticket bleed when they only need to win by 76 tickets.
You can tell Mr. Dogbert is getting rather excited. So, as you can see now, Masu, we're following with Masu as he takes down another member of Eyeballers. gets Henker off the floor, and now you can see another, and Masu again taking down 2 members of Eyeballers. Wow, he is really on fire today. Looks like he's sneaking around, finally gets shut down by another member of the Eyeballers, and you can see there that the difference in tickets, 167, 252. This is a war of attrition. This is a stand-up fight, and it's getting extremely bloody and very messy, but Eyeballers have nothing to lose. If they do not get the tickets that are required, they will go out of this competition at the semi-final stage, and Dignitas will move to the final. As you're watching Masu taking down Grozval, sneaking around looking for the enemy, and shooting poor old Jag in the back as he tries to make his way out. So let's find out what Nure is up to. So Nure looks like he's trying to defend the A point, or one of the corridors coming from the A point. Now he's moving back upstairs to the isolation cells at B, and looking to try and engage some of the Eyeballers, as one of them's making his way out towards the helicopter pad. And there we go, another member of Eyeballers taken down, and finally Nure gets finished off. So you're looking at 160 tickets to 120. Oh, Dignitas have lost a team member. Dignitas have lost a team member off of the server. This is going to be a serious problem for them now. However, you can see, let's have a look at the map. You've got Dignitas now capturing the A point, the B point in the favour of Russia, the C point in the favour of Russia, which is Eyeballers. Can they turn this around? Can they make the advantage that they currently have, with one member of Dignitas being missing, to their advantage in order to try and take this? That would be desperately unlucky.
But that's not even stopping them. They're still getting the ticket bleed against a team that's outnumbering them 4-5. Dignitas still holding the bleed now. Obviously, Eyeballers are going to regain B, but the damage is already done. Dignitas are within inches of winning this matchup against Eyeballers and moving on to the final of the very first Test Cup in BF4.
Indeed, indeed they are. Now this is obviously intense stuff going on. Oh, look at that. Giggly coming in with the pistol. Oh no, but being taken down by Jag, but Jag also then dying courtesy of his teammate, or Masu, coming in and popping nades out, and he is trying to defend that point, coming under fire, hiding behind, looks like he's going to be trading fire. He then gets taken down, and now you can see the A point, the C point. Here we go, let's see what Valu's up to at the moment. He's getting that C point back, so he's trying to stop that bleed. The bleed is now onto the US side, so Dignitas have the bleed against them, and Eyeballers look to be trying to take it to Dignitas as best they can, and they are doing their best, but they may not be enough. We'll have to wait and see, Dogbert.
The game is over for Eyeballers if they cannot get a good grip of this Dignitas lineup. They've got the A and B now, and that is pretty much what they need to hold on to. But Dignitas just seem to be able to make these individual plays where Eyeballers have to commit more and more men just to get rid of one. And it just, once again, like Henker there just walked through the middle tunnel and took out 2 Eyeballers who were on either side of him, and he eventually got took down, but it made no difference because Nuna spawned right on top of him, takes out the offending party, and gets straight into the B flag for a capture.
Yeah, we're watching Masu at the moment, who seems to be pretty much man of the match, I would have said, so far for Dignitas, and he is doing a good job of trying to defend and sort of get a little bit aggressive onto that A point. So he is literally doing a one-man job at the A point. The rest of the Dignitas team are obviously cycling around nearby him, but he's pretty much doing a solo job there and holding down that point. And now you can see a total burn. We're looking at a total domination now for Dignitas against Eyeballers. This is pretty much the death knell for Eyeballers. This is not looking good for them. I don't think they're going to be able to come back from this, especially against a team the caliber of Team Dignitas.
We are seeing 2 titans of the BF scene go head-to-head here in the semi-final of the ESL Test Cup. And I think really the difference here is maybe a more tighter lineup from Dignitas. Obviously they have some players who are making some extraordinary plays, with Masu obviously being one of the biggest ones to mention, but the entire Dignitas team is kind of working much better as a machine. When one player is picking the cue to spot someone, the other player in the team finishes off the person that's spotted, and I've seen them been doing that quite a lot. One guy ends up in a very dangerous firefight for his teammate, only to come up right behind an Eyeballers player and take them out. Really just more all-round better play from Dignitas on the infantry scale, and I think that's something we've come to expect really from a team that was originally 6 Finns, have been playing for a long period of time as the same lineup, and they're really at this point unstoppable, it seems, in this side of the bracket.
It does appear to be that way. The juggernaut that is Dignitas BF4 at the moment, proving itself to be very effective, and unfortunately shutting down eyeballers all over the place. 109 tickets to 42 as we're watching Grosval at the moment. He's trying to push that point, popping in nades, and yeah, it looks like he's using those small high explosive nades. Oh, that's a bad nade. And looks like he decides to eat that nade, and he is now looking for an opportunity to move in. So let us move over to Masu, who is capturing that helicopter pad and is waiting for the off. As soon as that point is captured, he's then going to move on. Can he see one of the enemy? Yes, he can. He gets shut down, and now it looks like we can move in with Grosval. But no, Grosval again got taken down from the other direction by Nure, so obviously the command went out from Masu that he had been taken out by the helicopter pad, and Nure cycled round to take him down. There we go, Ziank's been taken down by Valu, and now it's looking pretty much all over as far as eyeballers are concerned. 19 tickets left on the clock, on the scoreboard, and 106 tickets for Dignitas. This has been a pretty impressive display thus far.
Dignitas were going up against a very top team in eyeballers, and they have risen to the occasion. They took the lead in the first map by a score of 56 points, and from then they, to be honest, have just not really had that many road bumps in the way. Eyeballers stepped it up in the second round, but that was only after they were significantly far behind. Dignitas still using the motion sensor, by the way, in the middle of the map, which was never cleared up at all by eyeballers, and maybe it's something that's going to become a very, very viable tactic in the near future.
It could be that way. 104 tickets as far as Dignitas were concerned. So, what does that give us total-wise? Flex your mental arithmetic, Mr. Dogbert.
I think it's 240 tickets for Dignitas, 240 to 15 for eyeballers.
Well, there you go. That has been the semi-final of this cup, and now we shall be moving on, hopefully, to finding out what's gone on between, I think it is MYM and UMAV. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with that, and then we'll be able to tell you who's actually in the final of this first cup. And whoever's in that final, that's going to be a final that we are looking for.